So when I first got into Leica, people kept telling me that I needed one Leica lens. And today we're going to talk about it. This is the 50mm Summilux from Leica. We affectionately call it the Fiddy. Why the 50mm lens? The 50mm lens is a very classic focal length preferred by my heroes. One of them being Henri Cartier-Bresson, who was responsible for a lot of iconic pictures. Now, the 50mm will give you something close to what the eye sees, the aspect ratio of the eye. It's actually 43, but it's close enough. The 50mm Summilux, the Fiddy. The Fiddy is possibly the gold standard when it comes to 50mm lenses. It is possibly the lens that everyone is thinking about when they mention Leica lenses. So let's get into build quality. As usual, Leica. Build quality is sublime. It is what you expect when you're paying this much for a lens itself. The one I have is a silver one. It's made out of brass, so it's a little bit heavier than the black one. If weight is an issue, it's not much. So you can go for the black, which is made out of aluminium. Mine is made out of brass. The focus ring, the aperture ring is really smooth with enough feedback on the aperture ring to tell you that you've moved the aperture. And I'm very partial to focus tab. So yeah, I like this thing. One of the most interesting things about this lens is the optical design. This thing is secretly an apo lens, apochromatic lens, even though Leica doesn't mention it. So what apo does is that it gets rid of a lot of the chromatic aberrations, includes micro contrast, which brings out the finer details on your images. It has a 9-bladed aperture design. We'll get right into that later on, but yeah, so 9-bladed aperture, it gives you a certain character to the bokeh. As usual, this is what you've been waiting for. Let's talk about image quality. These are some of the pictures I've taken. Dibekuin. Oh yeah. Tiap hari kira-kira berapa ekor, Bu?
Alhamdulillah ya 150, 130.
Buset, banyak. Lumayan loh, Bu.
Disiplin aja.
Lumayan, iya. The bokeh quality of the lens, I feel that it's very smooth and creamy. Wide open at 1.4, the subject separation is very prominent. As far as sharpness goes, center, very sharp, even wide open. Sharpens up as you stop down. The sharpness fall off is also quite natural. There is also the Leica glow, the subtle glow around the highlights at F1.4, which Leica is known for. The contrast I feel is quite balanced, it's not overly harsh nor it's overly flat. It renders deep shadows and natural midtones for good dimensionality. So there are a lot of lenses that go up to 1.4, f1.4, very, very wide aperture, but it's going to be useless if it's soft, if it doesn't focus well. This thing is razor sharp at 1.4. It goes even sharper all the way to 5.6. The 9-bladed aperture gives you a very octagonal, sometimes octagonal bokeh. The newer one improves on it, but I don't really like it because I don't like bokeh that is too smooth. So what are the cons of this lens? This lens is a bit weighty, it's a bit heavy compared to the Summicron f2.0. It's also a lot more expensive than the Summicron, but then you get better low light performance, you get f1.4, you get better image separation. I would argue those are two different characters with two different sort of characteristics. I'm not saying that the Summicron is bad, but then it's just two different things. You can't compare those two. There are third-party alternatives, like the Nocturne. I've never tried the Nocturne, so I'm not going to comment much on it. The Summilux 50 f1.4, on the other hand, you can check out the video here. I did a review on it. It comes very, very close to the ASPH1 in terms of character, but then it has more aperture blades. It has close focus as well. That might be worth considering. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it is at a fraction of the price. So who is this lens for? This lens is for portrait photographers. It's for photojournalists, street photographers, what have you. The focal length is not really too tight for environmental photographs, and it's tight enough to give you that sort of compression that you want in your portraits. So, in conclusion, if you're ever going to buy a Leica lens, if you're ever going to own a Leica lens, which I think you should, every single Leica shooter should own at least one Leica lens, I reckon this is it, the Fiddy. That's it. That's the end of the video. But I need to extend the duration, so this video is proudly sponsored by me. All the pictures you saw on this video were edited by my presets, using my presets on Lightroom. They're called Chinois. You can purchase them in the link in the description below or on the card right in the corner. Yeah, I'm monetized, so I can leave cards for you to click on. Or if you're in the market for amazing straps, I also have them available on the web store. So yeah, those two are a very good way to support the channel, to encourage a starving artist of a career with no definite future. So yeah, go on, click on it. I still need to go on for 8 minutes. You can click off now. It's fine, but please stay. Right, thank you very much. See you on the next video.